Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with the F1 22 Haas Road to Glory. Yesterday we returned for the Austrian GP main race. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video where we went in, of course, jumped into qualifying and the sprint race here from Austria, would definitely recommend going back and checking those out. But today we're here for the main event itself, 36 laps around the Austrian Grand Prix. Of course, the sprint set us up quite nicely. We had a very good sprint race yesterday. I apologise for the fact the webcam just randomly died about halfway through. I've got no idea what that was about. So, fingers crossed. I mean, you guys probably don't want to see my face any more than you have to, but fingers crossed that's all sorted, ready for today's video. But as always, though, a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support on the F1 22 content. Of course, we ticked off 75k a few days ago. We're well on our way towards 80,000 subscribers at the moment, so if you're not already, it would be greatly appreciated if you click that subscribe button and help us get one step closer. But yeah, I suppose we better just dump into it then. Austrian Grand Prix, 36 laps ahead of us. Fingers crossed today we can score more points and jump Alpine in the championship. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome from the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Sergio Perez, Mr. Monaco, Bottas, Norris, Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso, Joe, Ocon, Lance Stroll and Tsunoda, Albon, Vettel, Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, well here we are then, back once more trackside here in Austria for round 11 of the year. Of course, this weekend marks the halfway stage of the F1 22 season, but looking again like we could see a tiny bit of rain towards the end of the Grand Prix today, so that could make things very interesting when we get into it later on. Just going to up the front wing again by another click there. Felt we struggled a bit at the end of the GP yesterday, but looking very overcast around the Styrian Mountains nonetheless. But starting P6 today, we got, you know, the likes of Hamilton and Lando Norris behind us there, both looking very quick around this venue. So going to need a good clean start here, and hopefully then going to move ourselves, you know, a little bit clear of them. But I feel like today, you know, the sprint yesterday basically went perfectly for us. So yeah, I think if we can kind of recover P6 again, would probably be quite a miracle. But I think, yeah, the big goal today, of course, we head into this weekend tied with Alonso, tied with Alpine as well. We can leave Austria ahead of them. That'll be quite a win. Just admit, a little bit gutted to see Mick Schumacher has also picked up some penalties as we jump into the race today, because he had a really good run in the sprint race yesterday. I was hoping we could try and get him some more points as well there. Of course, yeah, we're tied with Fernando Alonso overall in the championship, and Mick's tied with Esteban Ocon, so it really is all square between ourselves and Alpine, but fingers crossed we can get a good start here today. No! Oh, just into the red there. That's going to give Bottas a good advantage as we line up on the grid then. But waiting on the McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo. Waiting on those 5 red lights though here in Austria. Round 11 of the year in Spielberg. And it is going to be a long hold, but lights out and away we go. Valtteri Bottas got off to a lightning start there as we try and put the power down in 4th gear. Side by side with Lando Norris. Oh, there's big contact down at turn 1 there as Lando Norris way too optimistic to try and gain places there. Hamilton, Norris and myself, they're all 3 Brits side by side. As look at Bottas trying to have a go at Sergio Perez as we head up the hill there. George Russell now getting involved with Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz there as Leclerc gained the lead yesterday at lap 1 in the sprint race. It seems that Carlos Sainz has taken it back again this time around. There is Bottas and Perez side by side. We're going to try and send it down around the outside of the pair of them. Might have been a bit overconfident there into the braking zone, and we'd have to swap back in to P7s, but it hasn't been the worst start in the world for us. They're only losing the 1 place in the end to Valtteri Bottas, who gains both spots off myself and Sergio. But yeah, a bit of a dramatic start then here in Spielberg. Somehow Lando Norris, I think, has got away with it without front wing damage. There is Hamilton now down into P10 at the very least, but as we ran through the final couple of turns though of this opening lap then, not been the best run for us. Certainly was a bit scrappy. Yellow flags out at the top of the hill. Someone's had issues there, not too sure who that is, as we're going to try and look around the outside of Sergio Perez once again. I think the Red Bull, oh, it's got a little bit of front wing damage as we got a safety car. Not too sure what's happened. I think there's a Williams going very, very slowly, but don't think it's worth really changing our strategy, as Alex Albon's been disqualified. That must be for being parked in a dangerous location. Hamilton's now out of the race as well. So a bit crazy scenes then early on, but shouldn't change much for us. Well, having a look then on the race director there, Mick Schumacher. Certainly the big gainer in all of this early on, as it's been a while since I've had a safety car on F1 22. But yeah, Mick straight up into P13 then of the Grand Prix. We're still just sat behind Sergio Perez, who definitely has a little bit of front wing damage there you can see on the left-hand side. But yeah, if we can try and get past Sergio and maybe Valtteri Bottas again, P5 I would absolutely take here. Right, we'll get ready to go green then once more here in Spielberg. It is still Ferrari leading the way, but now everyone has been bunched back up again. We're going to have to try and stick in the DRS over these next couple of laps there to make sure we're still within range of Perez and Bottas there, but I can't help but think Bottas is probably going to lose a lot of ground to the top 4 as we try and get some temperature into the tyres out of the final corner. Often the AI much better at firing it back up than the human there, as it is green flag racing once again here from the Austrian GP. But surely Perez is going to be going on the offensive there. He does make a bit of a mistake though out of turn 1. Of course, we know how strong this Haas car is down the straights, but the Red Bull is certainly no slack, so we might try and send it here. Whoa, on Sergio Perez. I don't want to have a look at the inside of Bottas at the top of the hill there. That would have been just a bit too brave, as Sergio Perez, perhaps caught napping there slightly, tried to block me at the last moment, but we were dead set on completing the send. And up now back into P6 then of the Grand Prix, and surely we're going to be quicker than Valtteri Bottas in this race. Alfa Romeo have certainly not got as fast a car as we have at the moment. See now as DRS is about to be re-enabled, Bottas, I think he might just be out of the range of Max Verstappen there. We are definitely still within the range of the Finn as we head out of turn 1, but we're still dragging along Sergio Perez and Lando Norris here, as yeah, we are definitely within range of Valtteri, and I think he's just out of it from Max Verstappen there, as we've just got an engine warning light flash up. What's that all about? It is going to be MGUH, so not ideal, but we should be able to see that through to the end of the Grand Prix without any worries. Might just need some penalties before Le Castellet. Sergio Perez and Lando Norris might have been locked into battle for a brief moment there, because I don't see any sensible way Checo has dropped back a good couple of seconds here, but both myself and Valtteri Bottas then trying to fly the flag for the Ferrari-powered other cars. Already up in P5 and P6 there. Yeah, really mixing it up with the big boys today. But Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, surely they're both still quicker than us at the moment. We mentioned it in the sprint race yesterday. McLaren have had a fantastic recovery run over the last couple of weeks. But what worries me behind them, what worries me as well, is that line through the penultimate corner. But Bottas, sorry, the Alpines even, of Alonso and Ocon, sat in 9th and 10th. End of lap 10 though, all over the back still of Valtteri Bottas in this Grand Prix. He's going to go a bit defensive down in towards turn 1 there and really try and squeeze me through the first turn there. Runs horribly deep off the exit, and now we might be able to switch back off the corner there, as we are going to be side by side as we head up the hill. But look at this, here comes Sergio Perez, nowhere to go, as both of us try to make the cars as wide as possible. Bottas trying to hook it up around the outside though, as we get towards the top of the apex there, as we go side by side still on the exit of the corner there. Somehow I've got the DRS on Valtteri, so we head down the other side there, as he's still down around the outside of us. Valtteri Bottas is not wanting to give up on this one without a fight there, as you can just see, puts the power down on the exit there as well. We just about tried to keep the front wing in, and we're going to try and hook it up around the outside of the fin through the next corner there, and now somehow we go right around the outside through turn 6 there. Not too sure how we pulled that move off, but we will absolutely take it in the end there, side by side with Valtteri Bottas for the better part of half a lap, as I think Lando Norris and Sergio Perez trying to do their best job to imitate that. As we come round the final corner though, this would effectively now be starting the final lap of the sprint race. You can see Verstappen 7.5 seconds up the road. Don't think we're really going to be focusing on the big 4 today, but got to try and just take these tyres a couple more laps before the pit window, and of course build up a gap. I'm not quite sure when the team want us to box then, still in this Grand Prix. But I mean, Sergio Perez and Lando Norris are still battling each other, which is just again allowing Bottas and I to break away once more. Top 4, yeah, gaining about half a second a lap on me, so we're certainly not really going to be able to do anything against them. But I'm going to guess the team probably want us in end of 15, end of 60, and I can't actually remember what the strategy was at the beginning of the GP. It doesn't want to tell me either. There we go, sorry, lap 16. The team want us in. If we were to pit now, we'd rejoin in P18. That would not be ideal. Team want us in at the end of this lap. But I mean, yeah, Bottas, luckily, he's still hanging on close to me. He's not giving Perez and Lando Norris the DRS. It looks like Lando has got the jump once more on Sergio there, but he's not really applying too much pressure to me either. I think he's just kind of quite happy to sit and mill around in P6 at the moment. As I mean, if by some miracle we could walk away with P5 today, I would absolutely take that, as you can still see a big train of cars behind the Red Bull and the McLaren there, as I'm just trying to eye at Mick Schumacher's progress as well. Because, I mean, if he can recover back to the points there, which he's not far away from already, he's back in P12, just behind Zhou Guanyu, that'd be a fantastic result when you consider he had a penalty. But he proved he had the pace yesterday. Nice to see the AI actually able to cut their way through the field a bit more. As you can see, I think George Russell and one of the Ferraris opting to stay out for yet another lap here. Of course, we are going to dive it in as well, as a little bit wide there on the way into the pit entry. Luckily, in the game, you can keep that quiet and the FIA won't penalise you. Just make sure we get the car slowed down. Bottas gains a little bit there, as both Lando Norris and Sergio Perez going to hang out for another lap. We've just got to make sure we don't get jumped in the pit lane. Here is a nice entry into the pit box. Come on, don't lose out to Bottas. 2.5 seconds. We have actually got the jump and actually pulled away by a tenth or so, but I'm sure we're going to lose that now as we head out of the pit lane. Got to try and get temperature into the rubber as early as possible here, as are we coming out right alongside someone. It's Nicholas Latifi, the man they all fear. Luckily, of course, we've got enough poke in the car. There's all yellow flags out. Someone's going slowly at the top of the hill there as Bottas tries to send it on the Williams, and I think Lando Norris going slowly in this Grand Prix there. So a heartbreak for McLaren. Ricciardo retired yesterday during the sprint race, and it looks like Lando Norris is going to be out in the feature. Hopefully now, no safety car. What is that? Nicholas Latifi has just completely sent it on me. What was that? We've got a safety car now. That's annoying. What is Latifi doing? Well, riding on board then with Nicholas Latifi. I mean, what is that? He just completely outbrakes himself and sends me. Like I said, we've got a safety car now in the Grand Prix, but we're going to be way back down the order because other cars have now effectively got a free pit stop. Right, there we go then. Delta now has been removed, so we're going to absolutely fly around these final couple of corners here, as we're going to definitely lose out a couple of spots there. Look at that, Sergio Perez going to be way out ahead of us. We've lost so much because of this safety car there, and I don't even think Mick Schumacher, there he is. I'm in a P7, so we've now come out behind our teammate in this Grand Prix there. Perez has been released. That's P5 done and dusted. And even Ocon's got the jump on me. That is so annoying in this race because Latifi, surprise, surprise, can't drive. I mean, it's apparent that safety cars on F122 are like buses, where you don't get one forever, and then suddenly two arrive at the same time there. But Sainz now is in the lead ahead of George Russell, Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen there. Perez, yeah, probably one of the big gainers from that. 5th from 8th. Ocon as well from, what, like 10th place up to 6th. And now Mick Schumacher, though, at least he's back into the points here. But, yeah, I think as long as we can try and get the jump on Ocon still, it's not the end of the world. I think Perez, now Lando Norris was out of the Grand Prix, was probably going to close back up to Bottas, and I is the other Alfa Romeo. Yeah, probably an even bigger loser from this than I am. Sat down in 11th place now, but yeah, we've got to keep our head down still. 3 retirements so far in this Grand Prix. Let's hope we don't make it 4. Right, safety car back in again then as we head through the final turns here of the Austrian GP circuit. Fingers crossed we can try and get the jump on Mick Schumacher nice and quickly, or he can try and jump Esteban Ocon just in front of him. As it's green flag racing once more then from the Styrian Mountains. We've had some ups, we've had some downs so far today, but fingers crossed in the last 16 laps here we can try and recover and pick up a few more points then. Not too worried about Zhou Guanyu behind early on there as Verstappen already trying to have a look past Charles Leclerc, of course World Championship leader. So everyone just concertina's up at the top of the hill there. I did think about sending it on Mick, but I thought no, we'll be sensible this time round at the very least, as yeah, you can see he is applying pressure to Esteban Ocon. What we really need is the Alpine to lose the DRS to the Red Bulls in front there, but yeah, it's going to be a tall order still, but I want to try and get both of our cars ahead of Ocon, so we can really, yeah, go into the, well, get towards the summer break with a bit of an advantage. I'm kind of thinking, you know, France should be pretty even between us two teams, but Hungary is certainly going to be an Alpine track. Schumacher there, a little bit of a mistake at turn 1. Of course, we've got no DRS just yet in the Grand Prix, but not going to stop me trying to use a bit of battery on our teammate who's dead set on trying to defend the inside there as we head up the hill. And he's actually going to have a look up the inside of Ocon. Tiny bit of contact as they go through the apex there, and Mick Schumacher might now lose the place to myself. Let's look at the run we've got on Esteban Ocon as we're both going to try and make the move work on the Alpine here, 3 wide. As we head down the hill, I think I'm going to have to back out of this one as Ocon somehow hangs on in the middle there. Go on, Mick Schumacher. Try and make your work past him as we head down the hill. Come on, Mick. Go for it. No, Ocon just about gets the elbows out and somehow defends from both Haas cars here. Now we've got Zhou Guanyu trying to get in the mix as well. There's run horribly wide over the curbing, but I tell you what, the Austrian Grand Prix circuit can so often provide good, high-quality wheel-to-wheel racing. You know, really every corner around this track, it is possible to go side by side through, but now Ocon definitely won't have the DRS as we head over the start-finish line there to start lap 23. Surely Mick now can get a run on him as we head out at turn 1. We're going to try and get a nice run as well there as Mick Schumacher activates the DRS. He hasn't quite got the overspeed that I have at the moment, as Mick Schumacher going to go one way on Esteban Ocon. Ocon says no, and we just again get a little bit boxed in there as we get towards the top of the hill. Go on, Mick Schumacher. This time around, make it work, son. As we head out over the crest there. And we're going to try and wriggle our way through as well. Look at the speed we've got. 3 wide again there. As Ocon, I think, just about backs out of it. Mick Schumacher going to be very, very late on the brakes there. Tries to defend the apex, though, off the corner. Can we now get a run on my teammate as we head down the hill? Don't want him to lose too much time from this one. So we're going to try and sit side by side through the first part at the very least there. But look at this, Schumacher not wanting to give up on it just yet. He's had a fantastic race up to now, and look at the speed he's got off the corner there. Mick Schumacher will hang on to P6, but surely again DRS up the hill. This is going to be hopefully a done deal there, as we always get fantastic pickup out of the final corner there. Esteban Ocon and Zhou Guanyu, I think, disputing over P8, but we just got to sit behind our teammate now and then hopefully drag him forward towards the end of the Grand Prix there. You can see again the AI get a little wobble at turn 1 there as we get towards 2/3 race distance here around the outside of Mick Schumacher. Surely this one's nice and simple, and we will now inherit P6 once more in this Grand Prix. It's a bit of a shame it's given Sergio Perez a lifeline to battle with the top guys again, as Leclerc trying to make a move on George Russell, as Carlos Sainz just pulling away at the front, as here comes Mick again as we head down the hill. We're going to force him to the inside. Oh, very, very aggressive there from Mick Schumacher. Can we hook it up, though? Can we keep the power down? Wheel-to-wheel stuff between ourselves and our teammate. And this time round, I've got to get my elbows out a little bit and just confirm ourselves up to P6. We cannot start battling too much. 10 laps to go then here from Austrian. We're just quite happy to keep Mick Schumacher in our DRS range at the moment, just so he's got a bit of defence from Ocon. You know, we are really trying to play the team game like we did last weekend out at Silverstone, but yeah, I mean, the guys in front are still battling hard there. The gap really isn't opening up that much, but we're certainly not going to close into him. As you can see now, Ocon losing a bit of ground. If we can get Mick out of the DRS range of Ocon, then we can just try and not have to worry about it so much and just focus on our own race to the end. Yeah, really just trying to work with our German teammate. So there we go, Mick Schumacher now might be out the range of Esteban Ocon. Looks like the gap's coming down to Mick, but it's going up to Esteban. So as we close in on lap 30 of 36, we might now just be able to try and pull away a little bit from our teammate. Here is, yeah, the gap to Ocon definitely going up. He's going to be vulnerable from Zhou Guanyu towards the end of this, but this could be a fantastic weekend for both Haas cars in the end. If we can get double points in both the sprint and the main event, that would be fantastic here. And 6th to 6th doesn't look that incredible on paper for me, but 18th to 7th for Mick Schumacher. What a race he's had. Oh, there we go. Gap opens up to Mick Schumacher there. Small slip up from him. Now up to 1.2 seconds. It looks like Zhou Guanyu has got the jump on Esteban Ocon, so Alpine clearly just don't have the pace this weekend. And Bottas might be able to relegate him down to 10th place there. You can already see how much Fernando Alonso has lost. But now, yeah, we've got a second either way. We can afford just to bring the car home now. Of course, Mick Schumacher, I'm sure, will still want to try and apply pressure, but yeah, without the DRS, that's going to be a whole lot more difficult for our teammate to do. But he is clear of the cars behind. Hopefully now we can just sort of lay back and enjoy the last few laps of the Austrian GP. 48 laps we've done in racing around this circuit this weekend, but it is a fantastic little circuit, and it really does work in this Haas, just like it did in real life. But as we round the final corner then to start the last lap here of the Austrian Grand Prix, and it does look like things have fallen into place for us quite nicely towards the end of this one. Esteban Ocon has now dropped back behind Valtteri Bottas late on in the Grand Prix there, but at the front of the field it looks like Carlos Sainz has been able to romp away in the feature, just like we saw Charles Leclerc manage in the sprint race yesterday. I mean, I must admit, Charles Leclerc was starting to build up quite a margin over Sainz over the last few weekends, so I think this will be a welcome return to the top step of the podium for the Spaniard here. But I think George Russell is just about going to hang on to P3 as well there, so not what Red Bull would want in their backyard there. Behind the Mercedes, and neither car on the podium for the first time, I think, since 2020 around this circuit. But round in the final corner, Sainz is going to win here in Austria, and that is going to bring down the gap in the championship there. Sets the fastest lap in the process as well there. Carlos Sainz with a flawless end to the weekend. Charles Leclerc retakes the fastest lap bonus point though at the checkered flag there, so the gap doesn't quite come down as much as the Spaniard would have wanted there. But P6 to P6 in the end for us. The perfect execution of the Austrian Grand Prix.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in. A fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the Styrian Alps. Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, it wasn't the best weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Mick Schumacher gets my vote today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One, so be sure to join us for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Austrian GP, and Carlos Sainz, what a race that was from him. Took the win by 5 seconds despite a couple of safety cars there. And yeah, Charles Leclerc P2 despite the fastest lap bonus point. George Russell did hang on ahead of both Red Bulls, and it's both Haas cars 6th and 7th. One of our best team efforts of the year there, ahead of both Alfa Romeos and then both Alpines there, with Esteban Ocon picking up 1 solidary point there. Quite a few retirements this weekend. You can see Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon, they're all out of the GP, and that makes the championship standings all the more interesting as well there. Sainz, the gap comes back down to 37 points. Verstappen again further opens the margin over Lewis Hamilton there, as Perez and George Russell now just 1 and 4 points back respectively. We're still in 7th now though, ahead of Fernando Alonso, as Mick Schumacher jumps Valtteri Bottas back up into P10 of the championship, and certainly could get past Zhou Guanyu over the next few weekends as well there. Lando Norris and yeah, Daniel Ricciardo, a disappointing weekend for McLaren when they look to try and build on the momentum they brought over the last couple of weekends. Constructors wise though, yep, the gap to Alpine now 13 points as we leave Austria this weekend, as we get closer and closer to having a total of over 100 points in this championship. Ferrari's still way out front though, and the gap between Mercedes and Red Bull certainly not what Mercedes would have wanted this weekend. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will return very, very soon with more F1 22 content. Before we jump into that though, I just wanted to let you know of a brilliant competition going on hosted by Imperium Experiences. Have you ever wanted to attend the Italian Grand Prix? Yes, the home of Ferrari, the Temple of Speed, and of course the mighty Tifosi. Imperium Experiences are offering you the chance to win 2 tickets for the weekend and a 3-night stay at a 4-star hotel. All you have to do is enter their competition on their site, linked down below in the description or my bio, and you could be off out to Monza. The competition is limited to just 900 entries, however, and closes on the 6th of August, so make sure if you want to get involved to do it as soon as possible. Currently, they're also offering an extra promotion where if you buy 2 entries, you get a 3rd completely free, increasing your chances to win at an incredibly cheap price. They even have a handy guide on their site on how to enter, so I would definitely recommend checking it out, and a massive thank you to them for sponsoring this video. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.